Now, your staff appear to have a somewhat lax attitude towards punctuality.
There's been a funeral.
Lyndon Cullen, I'm aware.
It overran.
An excuse is an admission of failure.
I'm not making excuses.
I would be. I'd be wanting to explain why 15 members of my staff have been AWOL for the last hour and a half.
17.
Of course, let's not forget the 2 porters who spotted an opportunity to skive.
Mr. Cullen was a popular member of staff.
They always are. You seldom read a scathing obituary, do you?
I don't mean to be rude, but who are you and what are you doing in my office?
They haven't told you yet.
Told me what?
Please, don't let me interrupt.
Earl, it's my dad. He needs help.
Who's this consultant?
Mrs. Beecham.
Then I suggest you wait for her.
My dad's in pain. Real pain. Mrs. Beecham doesn't have a clue what she's talking about. She's done like 15 tests on my dad already, and all she can give me is wait and see. So don't you tell me to wait. I'm done waiting.
Where are you taking my patient?
Keller.
What?
He needs an ultrasound.
You can have an ultrasound here.
There seems little point in taking up one of your expensive CT beds when his problem's clearly GS-related.
Well, I disagree. The pain's in his chest and the echo shows dilated aorta.
Yes, but he has severe abdominal pain. So what's your diagnosis?
Well, he doesn't have established ischemic heart disease.
So your diagnosis would be...
Well, I'm still working on his blood pressure.
Your diagnosis, Mrs. Beecham? And the patient was admitted almost 36 hours ago. No diagnosis yet. A change of tack, surely?
Here at Holby, we don't go around stealing the other consultants' patients. It's just not done.
But we're joint directors of surgery, aren't we?
Yes, but...
So Mr. Brenton would be our patient, surely?
Absolutely.
I'm just not sure. Okay, so I just need you to sign here and here, and I'll arrange for one of our porters to transfer Miss Marquez down to Holby Care as soon as.
Thank you.
I believe you summoned me?
Yes, Mr. Hanssen and Ms. Robinson. She's having one of her clients transferred to one of our private rooms in Holby Care.
You're not happy with the care she's being given here on Darwin Ward?
I don't like your doctor's attitude.
Oh, you don't?
Well, she needs a C-section now. They need to get that baby out of her.
I do apologise. I didn't realise you were an obstetrician.
I'm a lawyer specialising in litigation.
Of course you are.
She is putting that baby's life at risk. Anyone can see that.
Surgeons only cut when they have to. You think if you flash your gold card at Mr. Spence here, he'll have your friend sliced open at your say-so? She has a mitral stenosis. This is a cardiothoracic ward. If you have any real interest in your friend's well-being, you'll leave her where she is. Mr. Spence. I know you love your little toy shop downstairs, but it doesn't exist just so you can fleece vulnerable patients.
Wait a minute. It's not about fleecing anyone. It's about patient choice.
A patient with a heart condition should be on a heart ward. If you want to make money by stiffing bottom feeders, then I suggest you stick to Botox and breasts. Might rather suit you.
Your BP is constantly going from high to normal. Now, the pain, is it constant? Is it on and off?
Look, I really don't want to be rude, love, but you can do 400 more tests if you like, and you're not going to tell me anything I don't already know. I've lived with this condition for 15 years now. I've always known what could happen.
Right, Donna, let's do blood cultures and repeat echo.
Why won't you listen to me? You're wasting your time.
She said I could sit here.
Who did?
Sister Jackson. Got to do my own work somewhere, don't I?
Golden ratio, eh?
Yeah, total waste of time. It's supposed to be art history, not maths.
You don't believe there's an overlap?
Nah.
No such thing as perfect proportion?
Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
The Great Mosque of Karun, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, the human body.
Coincidence.
No such thing?
Of course there is. People just want to find a pattern in everything.
Why?
Because they're scared of the chaos. They need everything to make sense.
Do you always work at night?
It's the only time we get any peace, when he's asleep. Then it's like everything's, I don't know, normal, whatever that means.
And to what use do you intend to put all this studying university?
Waste of time.
Why do you say that?
Well, I thought about it for like 5 minutes. But the teacher said I should.
And if your father wasn't ill?
It won't make no difference. It's got nothing to do with that. It's become secondary progressive, hasn't it?
What makes you think that?
Because it's obvious. The migraines, the flashes in front of his eyes, the coughing like he's going to combust, the going crazy mad for no reason.
Hasn't always had a temper?
Just lately.
Thank you.
For what?
Get on with your homework.
Mr. Brenton, sincere apologies for it taking so long, but I burnt a little midnight oil and I think I've come up with a good theory of what's wrong with you.
There's no need, Doc. Really.
Sorry?
Catecholamines. I've explained it all to Mr. Brenton. It's blindingly obvious, really, when you think about it. I feel a little ashamed, don't you? Pheochromocytoma. Textbook.
Of course.
So, what can you do? What's the treatment?
Well,
There's a procedure.
Mr. Hanssen, can I have a word, please?
One moment, Mrs. Beecham, please. We've a slot in theatre this morning. We can call your son.
No. Don't. Not till after, if that's all right.
Yes, you must be so proud of your son. Turning down a chance to go to university just to look after you. Smart move.
University? Or Dill? I don't think so. I mean, Dylan's not the sharpest pencil in the box. He takes after his father in that respect. And he says his grades are lousy.
I'm not convinced your son's been telling you the whole truth.
Mr. Hanssen, if you wouldn't mind.
You're just...
Is he even fit for surgery?
The neuro and physio specialists seem to think so. Mr. Griffin, perfect timing. You could be arbitrator.
For what?
Pheochromocytoma on the adrenal gland, which has attached itself to the diaphragm. It's there.
Uh-huh.
Mrs. Beecham wants to do keyhole through the chest.
Whereas Mr. Hanssen wants to slice and dice, despite the fact the patient has MS.
Well, if this were my patient, given the position of the tumour, I would suggest that you and I operated together.
Well, there's our answer. A CTGS collaboration, except, of course, unfortunately, you're currently off games, so I'll have to take your place. See you on the ice.
I've upgraded to cardiothoracics.
Upgrading? Why do so many CT surgeons have this delusional God complex?
The heart is a major organ in the body, ergo.
The heart likes to think it's the body's major organ, while the kidneys just get quietly on with their work, filtering out poison, allowing the body to function at its maximum capability. They're efficient, beautifully designed, and they don't have to shout about it.
But you can lose a kidney if the heart stops beating.
Hack off a piece of kidney, it'll just grow back, whereas once the heart's kaput, just a useless lump of tissue. And, of course, you can replace a faulty heart with a machine the size of a cigarette packet. A bolus of phenoxybenzamine, please.
We need to keep moving.
Scissors? BP's plummeting. Might have been an idea to decrease the sodium nitroprusside.
Let's have a litre of Jello. If we'd have gone with keyhole procedure.
Which we didn't, and start the dopamine, so I failed to see the usefulness of that comment.
All right. Cortex patch 3-oproline.
There we are.
If we lose this patient, I'm holding you fully responsible.
If we don't, presumably you'll take all of the credit. BP's climbing again.
Right, once this is in, let's get ready to close up.
Scalpel. It's time for your break, Mr. Byrne.
In conclusion, my vision for Holby City General uses the Gibson endowment to make us one of the most progressive and forward-thinking units of its kind in Europe. Now I know I can rely on your support. You know me, you know how I operate, and you can trust me to deliver. Okay, thank you.
I don't know if anybody's got any questions.
Actually, I'd like to ask something, if I may.
Oh, Mr. Hanssen.
I think your vision is wonderful. I think it's utopian. I think the only thing missing, really, is a river of honey and unicorns cavorting wildly through the hospital grounds.
Actually, Mr. Hanssen, it's a fully working, fully costed proposal.
Yes, for a hospital that hasn't taken $1.5 million brokerage in working capital from the SHA to plug their deficit. Or perhaps in a year where the Department of Health hasn't reduced tariff by 3%. I mean, if this was 1994, then I'd say bring it on, but... after all, who couldn't use another MRI scanner? Actually, I'll tell you who. Us. This hospital already owns 2 fully functioning MRIs, the last of which was only delivered in November last year. But that's not the point, is it? The point is that this vision of yours isn't really a vision for Holby at all. It's a vision for Darwin Ward, for Connie Beecham. It's a work of utter solipsism, not to mention naivety. I'm sorry, but perhaps we should have collaborated on this, and then we wouldn't have wasted everyone's time.
I'm telling you, I can't see. I can't see anything.
Excuse me, please.
Mr. Hanssen.
You are...
Dr. Valentine.
I can't see. I can't see.
What is wrong with the patient, Dr. Valentine?
I don't know.
Why can't I see?
Nurse, yes you do.
Can't see.
I assume there's a vending machine down here, is there? 2 chocolate bars, nothing with nuts, and I want to change, please. How long has she been here?
Why aren't you listening to me? I'm telling you, I can't see.
Do you mind? That's a ghastly noise.
7, maybe 8 minutes ago.
Before her fit, she was slurring, aggressive, confused. You assume she was drunk?
I can't see anything.
Yes, no, I'm sorry.
TP.
What?
Her blindness, Todd's paralysis, which makes her seizure, therefore...
Tonic-clonic.
Wasn't so hard, was it? Hypoglycemia, her blood sugar levels through the floor.
But yesterday I sent her home. I'm sorry. I just thought that she was a junkie or a drunk or something. I didn't...
Everyone's done it. Well, actually, I haven't, but I'm sure everyone else has. What's her name?
Rose.
Sit up, Rose. Sit up. Time for brekkie. Thank you. Now, eat this. Eat it. We don't want you slipping into a coma and Dr. Valentine here having an existential crisis. Take that. Normal eyesight will be resumed shortly.
Can I see Mr. Cullen?
Well, Mr. Cullen's dead, so there's not a lot of point in asking for him. Yeah. Who is in charge down here?
I don't know.
Is this going to be a bloodbath?
Define your terms.
Percentage of staff.
5. Possibly more.
Names?
Not yet.
And how do you propose avoiding a mutiny?
Day 1 of surgical training. If you want to avoid scarring, you have to wield your scalpel cleanly, boldly, without hesitation.
I hope to God you know what you're doing.
I don't believe a hospital is defined by its leadership. A hospital is only as good as its weakest link. Our job is to seek out the weakest links and fix them.
So you're happy with the lineup?
Mr. Griffin's incapacitated, Mr. Spence seems to be entirely venal, and Mr. Burns clearly in the middle of some sort of psychotic episode. Hardly a dream team, is it?
And Mrs. Beecham?
We'll see.
You coming?
Will no doubt have met our new joint director of surgery by now, but for those of you that haven't, Connie and I are delighted to welcome Mr. Henrik Hanssen to Holby City.
Most of you are intelligent people. You read the newspapers. You're aware that we're in the middle of a sea change. We can't afford to bury our heads in the sand any longer. As director of surgery, I will always tell you the truth. And the truth is that there are going to be some tough times ahead, some tough decisions will have to be made. Some people will be losing their jobs. As the first step towards getting the hospital back on track, Mr. Spence has volunteered to be the new consultant on AAU, taking the place of the late Mr. Cullen. Leaving the past behind is difficult, can be bewildering, frightening even, but it's also vital. It's what keeps us alive. So we must look to the future. We must move forwards. It isn't going to be easy, but it's time for a change.